on a commercial train, where a guy who has his headphones on is enjoying the bliss that comes with music. He sings along to the music and also moves his body in rhythm to the song he is listening to. He looks to his right and sees a guy in a suit sweating profusely because it appears that he is worried about something. Bro's wife seems to be after him cause WTF. The guy in the suit soon gets off the train and starts running as fast as he can, but he soon comes across some hidden figures when he gets to an alley. He makes a stop and starts to wonder how the people who are about to attack him manage to find him. A smoke bomb is thrown at his location to give the guys easy access to get to him. However, the guy in the suit appears to be stronger and talented than he looks. He is able to block the first attack that comes toward him, and he replies with a counterattack. He moves out of the smoke and his assailants are revealed to be freaking-ass ninjas. The guy in a suit starts to cut down his enemies with a small knife that is with him. Projectiles are shot at him, but he is able to dodge these things. He is subdued when the ninja boss grabs him with a strong string and knocks him to the floor. He is decapitated before he can even make a move. He falls to the ground, headless with red liquid flowing out of the opening left behind by the removal of his head. The ninja boss takes a picture of the deceased to confirm his termination. Once this is done, the ninjas take their leave. In the next scene, a guy, Joe Logan, is seen working on his farm. After he is done taking some of the crops, he gets into his truck and drives home. He is working on his motorcycle when a figure appears behind, but he is able to react before the figure can get to him. It turns out that the hidden figure is his son, Kyle, who has a scary mask on. Kyle falls to the ground and wonders how his father knows that he is coming toward him, and his father jokingly says he has eyes in the back of his head. When asked about the type of mask he is putting on, he says the mask is an Oni mask. The Oni are said to be scary demons from Japan, Kyle says. Joe's wife, Sarah, shows up and says Kyle got the mask from a friend of his. Little-ass Kyle wonders if his father will be able to take on the Oni if they have to appear. His father and mother assure him that they will get rid of the demons if that ever has to happen. Sarah then urges the two to come inside and eat dinner. The camera shows a calendar in their home with the 25th marked on it. It appears that this day is Kyle's birthday, and his parents are already preparing for his birthday because it is just a couple of days away. That night, Joe and Sarah see on the news about the man who was terminated in the alley. The reporter lets out a piece of detailed information about how the man was terminated, and this somewhat gets to Joe and his wife. Sarah is about to say something when their son shows up. Kyle assumes that the Oni did it, but Joe carries him and says it is time for him to go to bed. Kyle doesn't want to, but his father scares him by telling him that he will not receive any birthday gift if he refuses to go to sleep. After he has put his son to sleep, Joe uses his cell phone to check the status of the CCTV cameras that he has installed in and around his house. He returns to the sitting room where he finds his wife still worried about the man who was terminated. Joe assures his wife that there is nothing to worry about because they are perfectly hidden and cannot be found. Sarah is worried about the Reaper too, but Joe assures him that the elimination task doesn't seem to be his handiwork because he has always worked alone. Joe assures his wife that everything is just going to be smooth from here on out. A few scenes then show how happily the family is spending their life in hiding. Joe even makes sure to clean his prints anytime he steps out. Soon afterward, Sarah and Joe are in the sitting room when they find out on the news that there has been another attack, and this makes it the fourth one. This has gotten Sarah seriously worried, and it appears that Joe is also worried, but he is not showing any signs of it. It is finally the 25th, which is their son's birthday. They stay outside the house and have a mini party for their son to celebrate his day. Joe plays the guitar and also sings for him to make his son happy. He gets him a new mask as a birthday present, claiming that he likes to see his son in a mask. Sarah takes the mask off and says she prefers seeing Kyle's face without a mask. The trio ends up hugging each other, and they confess their love to each other too. After the party and celebration, Kyle is put to sleep. Joe wakes up in the middle of the night, and the same thing applies to his wife. He tells his wife to stay put while he checks out the house. He walks down the stairs and gets to the parlor, but doesn't seem to find anything unusual. Just then, he sees two ninjas staring at him from outside the window as if they are ghosts. Before he can react, the two ninjas burst into the house and attack him. He is able to hold out against the two as he seems to be more trained than them. He is battling it out with the two when he hears his son call out to him from upstairs. He gets distracted by this, and he is cut. He pushes away his assailants and starts running up the stairs, but he is shot with paralyzing needles. He falls to the ground because of the effect of these needles. He is not ready to give up, and he continues to crawl up the stairs to try and get to his son. He gets upstairs and he is totally heartbroken when he sees the boss ninja standing over the body of his wife and son. There is also some sort of electronic device that is glitching on their faces. The boss ninja laughs at Joe and says his wife put up a good fight, but then he pushes his sword into Sarah's neck to break Joe the more. G tries to get closer to his wife and son, but a ninja appears from behind and impales him with a sword. Joe falls to the ground while stretching his hand out to where his family is lying. The ninja hear a police siren approaching the house and they wonder how they were able to get the information of what is happening that fast. The ninjas quickly vanish before the police get to the house. The police arrive, but the only thing they find is Joe's corpse and that of his wife and son. Up next, Joe's body is covered in the morgue when he suddenly comes back to life. Bro pulled a Lazarus stunt on his freaking ass enemies. He struggles and falls off from the platform he is lying on top of. The first thing that comes back to his mind is the face of his wife and son as they lie down in their own pool of red liquid. Two nurses find him, and the female nurse tells his counterpart to quickly get the doctor. Joe passes out again as the nurse calls out to him. He later regains consciousness to see a doctor and the nurse standing above him. The doctor tells him that he miraculously came back to life after he has been pronounced dead by the coroner. Joe asks about his wife and son, and the doctor tells him that the two didn't make it. Tears fall out of his eyes with the realization that his family is gone. Later on, two federal agents show up at the hospital. They make their way to Joe's room, but the doctor tells them not to agitate him. After saying this, the doctor leaves the room for them. The guy introduces himself as Mike Morris with the FBI, and his counterpart says her name is Emma Samanda. Mike apologizes for coming at such an inconvenient time, but he tells Joe that his help is needed concerning the ongoing investigation. Mike asks him if he has any idea who broke into his house or what their motives are. Joe doesn't say a word, but he clenches his fist around the bedsheet. Mike realizes that Joe is not ready to talk, and he decides to leave his card for whenever he is ready. As they leave the room, Mike tells Emma that he has a hunch that Joe knows what happened to his family. He then tells his counterpart that they will take turns watching Joe throughout the night. Later that night, Emma calls Mike to inform him that Joe has been on the roof for quite some time now. He is just sitting there, and Emma has decided not to make any moves unless Mike gives her the permission to do so. While he is sitting there, Joe gets a flashback of when he requested to see the body of his family. He is so much hurt that he finds it hard to enter into the morgue to look at the bodies. This is what he is busy thinking about when ninjas show up. It seems he is already expecting them, and this gives Joe the advantage. He is able to dodge the first wave of attacks that is directed toward him, and he replies with a counterattack. He grabs one of their swords, and he starts to cut them down with immense anger burning inside of him. He looks more dangerous and scary than he was before. He makes a hand gesture and activates some sort of ninja power. This is enough to make him faster and even stronger. He relieves a bunch of ninjas of their heads at once, and this is to show how strong he is. Emma realizes that something is wrong, and she runs over there to check Joe, but Joe gets to her first and knocks her out to keep her safe and to stop her from seeing what is happening. Once Emma is out of the equation, Joe returns to the termination of the ninjas. He pushes a bunch of ninjas into the elevator and cuts them down. At the same time, Mike arrives at the hospital and starts to wonder why Emma is not picking up her calls. He is left in total shock when he finds a bunch of bodies lying in front of the elevator door. After terminating all the ninjas, Joe is faced with the boss ninja. The boss ninja scoffs and makes fun of Joe, whom he claims is stubborn and doesn't want to die. Joe remembers how the guy terminated his wife, and he wastes no time going after him. He gives the boss no chance at all as he delivers several cuts to his body, like a bag of crappy-ass meat. He disarms the guy and pushes him to the wall as he stabs him multiple times. The boss ninja falls to the ground, and Joe asks him how he was able to find him and his family. The ninja replies that Joe can change his appearance all he wants, but fate will always catch up to him. It turns out Joe has a device masking his true appearance. He takes off the device to reveal his true appearance, and this was the same device that was glitching when his wife and son were killed. Before leaving the hospital, Joe goes to the morgue to check out his wife and son's bodies. After this, Joe heads back to his house. He digs out a box that he has hidden in the walls. The box contains a picture of him and his family, and there is also a red mask inside the box. He looks at the picture, and he remembers all the fun times he had with his family. He leaves everything else inside the house and steps out after pouring gasoline everywhere. He then throws a burning stick into the house, and fire engulfs the entire house. He turns away from the house, puts on the red mask, and puts on his hoodie like a freaking gangster as he walks away with the house burning behind him. The scene then transitions to Joe waking up from a bad dream, which reminds him of how his family died. The ninja boss is in front of him, and he ties the man upside down to inflict pain on him. Joe is already exhausted, and he falls to the ground. Just then, an old man shows up and calls Joe by another name, Hygen. The man walks toward Joe and says he is surprised to see Joe again because he believes that their next meeting will be in the afterlife. The old man takes Joe to his room where the only thing visible is a bed. The old man asks Joe why he doesn't have his disguise on, and Joe replies that the organization already found a way to see through their disguises. Joe urges the old man to remove it, but it doesn't seem the man is ready to. The old man appears to be a doctor, and he can clearly figure out that Joe used a dark art of stark awareness, and this is the reason he is beat up. He tells him never to do it again because it might just kill him. The old man rolls Joe to his side, and he is surprised when he sees the deep wound left behind by the sword that went through Joe's chest. He is shocked that Joe is still alive and kicking even with a hole in his chest. He says he should be dead already, even without using the secret art. The man concludes that Joe has someone out there who is keeping him alive, or he is just alive by dumb luck. The man then prepares to work on Joe. Before starting, he tells Joe that it will take him 5 to 6 days before he can make a full recovery. All Joe wants is to be able to move, so he can then get answers from the ninja boss, who is hanging outside. After that, he plans to hunt down all of the people who terminated his family. He has no one to help him, so he will have to do this by himself. The old man gets down to business and starts operating on Joe. Soon afterward, Joe wakes up and he is able to move his body. He takes a look at his backpack and finds Mike's card inside there. After this, he arms himself with a sword and goes outside to meet the ninja boss he left hanging. He pushes the sword into the guy to make him scream. The guy screams a little but makes fun of Joe. He reminds Joe that ninjas are built to never creak. Joe says he knows this and leaves the sword inside the guy. Joe continues with this day by day. After he is done cutting the guy with the sword, he leaves the sword inside of the guy. The guy still remains alive and even talks about how much he enjoys terminating Joe's wife and child. Joe pours gasoline under the guy and tells him that he is going to burn the memory of his family into his eyes. He plans to terminate him in the worst way possible and not even give him a chance at survival. He wants to terminate him in such a way that he will still be feeling pain in the afterlife. After Joe is done telling the guy everything he has in stock for him, he drops the matchstick that he is holding and fire engulfs the ninja boss. He screams out in severe pain, but Joe leaves him hanging right there. Meanwhile, Mike has been informed by his boss to drop the investigation, and Mike can be seen arguing with his boss. The boss tells him that there is nothing that they can do about the case because they don't know who the red liquid on the roof belongs to. There is also no surveillance footage to actually say something happened that night, he says. The man tells Mike that it is not his decision to make because the order came from above. The man then tells Mike to pick another case because it will hurt him if Mike gets fired when his retirement is already near. After leaving the office, Mike heads to where Emma is. He berates her for not putting up a fight concerning the case, which is about to be thrown under the rug, but Emma calms Mike down and lets him know that the best solution is just to play along. She knows that something shady is going on, and they are trying their best to cover it all up. She informs Mike that she has done some digging into Joe Logan as he asked her to. She has been able to figure out that the name Joe is nothing but an alias. There is also no information on his wife and child. She tells Mike that he is actually right about the case being a lot deeper than they thought. On the other hand, Joe is inflicting pain on the ninja boss. He takes his backpack, gets on his bike, and sets out to look for answers concerning those who terminated his family. The first building he barges into turns out to be empty, with no residents inside the house. He continues his search to all the places he knows that he can get answers, but he keeps hitting a dead end. He soon gets frustrated and decides to take the heat off in a roadside bar. He is doing this when two cops enter the bar. The cops indecently touch a lady who is inside the bar before they proceed to meet the attendant, who is also the owner. Without saying anything, the owner brings out some cash and reveals that this is everything he has. The cops are not ready to have this and they demand that he give them more. They even go as far as to pin his head to the table. One of the cops looks at Joe, who is busy with his drink. The cop asks him if he is the one with the motorcycle parked outside, but Joe refuses to answer. The cop continues to pester him, and the cop ends up making one of the worst mistakes of his life when he tries to touch Joe. Without holding back, Joe grabs his hand and punches him in the neck. He takes out some cash and puts it on the table to serve as his payment. He turns back to start leaving, but the other cop tries to hit him from behind. Joe easily dodges the baton coming towards him and delivers a blow that sends the cop flying behind the counter. The bar attendant is shocked to see this and just stands there in amazement. Joe steps outside and gets on his bike. He sees the police vehicle in front of him, and this makes him remember Mike. He checks his bag to confirm if he still has Mike's card in there, which he does. On the other hand, Mike questions the VR device that Emma has on her head. Emma then tells him that the world is slowly moving towards virtual reality, and the technology is all thanks to the company known as Auza. Just then, he receives a call from an unknown number, and when he picks up the call, it turns out to be Joe. Mike quickly makes a hand signal to Emma to let her know that he needs the call to be traced. Joe says he has some questions for Mike, and they need to talk. Mike doesn't give a positive answer, and Joe hangs up. He destroys the phone that he uses to call Mike. However, he decides to give Mike another chance by calling him again. Mike apologizes and tells Mike not to hang up on him again. Joe then tells Mike that they need to meet, and he should be the one to pick the location. This surprises Mike, but he decides to do so nonetheless. Mike then gives him the name of a restaurant where they are to meet. While Mike is making this call, the entire office can basically hear their conversation. After they have decided to meet the following night, Joe hangs up and Emma fails to get a lock on his location. The following day, Joe puts on a hoodie and he starts going to the meetup location. As he walks through the street, Ayuza's billboard and giant monitors can be seen and heard talking about the possibilities of the future. Joe gets to the rooftop to look down on the building where he is to meet Mike. Joe looks around to make sure that Mike is not followed and doesn't have anyone with him. Mike enters the empty restaurant and he tells the owner to leave for some moments. The old man berates Mike and reminds him that he owns the place. The man tells Mike that the delivery guys will be coming to get the customers' food. He wants Mike to just tell them that the order is on the table and they should make sure that they got the right one. Mike is surprised to find out that the man isn't using drones for his deliveries yet, and the old man uses that to throw a bant at Auza. Joe enters the restaurant with his face covered and the old man stands up to leave. He tells Mike that he will be back in the next 30 minutes, and Mike should be ready to pay for anything that he breaks. After the old man leaves, Mike demands to know if he is talking to the real deal. He wants Joe to show his face, but Joe brings out the card he gave him instead. Mike doesn't seem satisfied with this, but he is forced to accept what he is given when he realizes that Joe can just leave if he wants. However, Mike is surprised that Joe can actually show his face, even though he can be arrested. Joe sits in front of Mike and tells him that he is not there for small talk. He wants to know who is responsible for the serial murders and also if Mike has any leads. He is ready to return the favor by answering anything that Mike asks him. Suddenly, Mike pulls out his gun and points it at Joe. He demands that Joe surrender himself because he is not ready to make him a deal. Mike gets distracted when a delivery guy enters to take a customer's order. The guy doesn't concern himself with what is happening and he just leaves quietly after taking the food. Mike is about to continue talking when another delivery guy shows up to take another order. After the second guy is gone, Mike gets closer to Joe with the intention of arresting him. Just then, another guy enters, and it doesn't seem this guy is the friendly type. The guy is wearing a mask and he stands there, giving off a fearful vibe. Just then, the guy charges toward Mike and Joe with his weapon, but Joe is vigilant and he is able to dodge the guy's attack. A fierce fight breaks out between the two, and Mike finds it hard to pick who he wants to shoot. The guy goes after Mike and tries to terminate him, but Joe manages to get to Mike and push him out of harm's way. The guy activates a ninja technique that lets him become two personalities. To counter this, Joe also uses a technique that gives him two extra pairs of arms, making him look like Goro. The fight between the two continues, and it appears that they are evenly matched. Joe gets the better of the guy when he spills fire on him, and then pins him down by throwing his swords into his hands. He ends the guy and his doppelganger by relieving him of his head. After everything is settled, Mike turns to Joe and asks him who he is. Joe simply answers him by revealing that he is a ninja, and the same applies to the guy he just terminated. He uses the masking device to change his appearance so he can see that he is telling the truth. Mike is surprised to hear this because all he has been hearing are rumors about the existence of ninjas. Just then, some armed men pulled up in front of the restaurant. They fire a rocket into the building and run away after doing this. Mike and Joe manage to take cover behind a table. The dust settles, and Mike realizes that Joe is gone already. He takes a look at the cut that the ninja's blade made to his bulletproof vest, and this has him asking questions on what kind of materials the ninjas are using to make their weapons. The more important question is who is making the weapons. An Auza ad showing behind him catches his attention, and he turns back to look at the giant monitor displaying the ad. Later on, an old man, who appears to be the leader of the ninjas, is informed that the assassination attempt on Joe has failed yet again and he is still alive. The man then raises his head and calls Joe by the name that he is known as, which is Heigen. Soon afterward, a crappy-ass psychotic ninja joins the league of those hunting Heigen, trying to wipe him off the face of the earth. He is a man with no shame, and he relies on machines to do his dirty work for him. He is following instructions from the leader of the ninjas, Yamaji. All exiled ninjas are to be terminated according to Yamaji. They want Heigen gone, but at the same time, they want to uncover his deadly-ass secret technique. In the next scene, one of the exiled ninjas is seen going against a seemingly dangerous ninja, Zai. The exiled ninja seems to be confident that he is going to take down Zai, using his deadly technique. He dashes towards Zai with the wind technique, and after he is done, he assumes that Zai is 6 feet under only for him to realize that Zai is still standing strong. He decides to use the technique one more time, but just then, he realizes that Zai has already plunged his sword into him. The exiled ninja falls to the ground, admitting defeat, but tells Zai that he is going to be waiting for him in hell. It seems Zai, who is also known as the Reaper, wants to engage Heigen, but he has been ordered to stand down by Yamaji. On the other hand, Mike is still pursuing the ninja case when he gets called by the captain, who is also his former partner. They sit on a public bench to discuss, and the captain tells him to take some time off. He doesn't want him digging into the case, and he tells him not to come back to the office till the day his retirement takes effect, which is soon. The captain leaves, telling Mike that this is the best advice he can give him. Later on, Mike goes to Heigen's hideout. He brings groceries for him, and it seems Heigen is still having traumatic experiences with the death of his wife, but he is trying so hard to mask it. Mike shows Heigen the files he is able to gather regarding the ninjas and Auza. Mike knows that Auza is a freaking dangerous company, because they have their claws dug into every section of the country. Even the fucking FBI is in their pockets, which is one of the reasons they want Mike to back down on the case. Heigen doesn't care about all these because his entire plan rests on him terminating every single person who was involved in his wife's death. Mike is still maintaining his dumbass moral code by telling Heigen that he is going to arrest him if it comes to that. Protecting the citizens from criminals is what he signed up for, he says. To form an alliance with the guy, Heigen gives him a cup and pours a drink in it. Heigen believes in the old way of sharing a drink with whoever he is going to form an alliance with. Mike drinks the liquid with the mind that he is taking in strong wine, only to find out that it is not. It turns out that it is nothing but a freaking energy drink. Mike believes that this is a ninja thing, but Heigen tells him that it is not. This is just something that he does on his own. Mike then tells Heigen that he has a lead concerning Ayuza because he knows someone. Not long after, they meet with Emma. Mike disses Emma for coming late, calling her car a piece of fucking junk. However, Emma is not ready to stand this, telling Mike that his own car is the trash. Heigen cuts in by praising Emma's car, thereby trashing Mike's car. Emma is so happy to have won the argument, forcing Mike to quickly close the topic by reminding them that they didn't come here to talk about cars. Bro is just straight up pained that Heigen sided with Emma instead of him. They enter into Emma's little beetle, and she activates some sort of command button, which shows them the real side of the car. It turns out that the insides of the car are basically a computer home, which Emma uses in carrying out investigations and gathering pieces of information. This is a car she claims to have built by herself. It is apparent that Mike will be admiring the car, so to speak. Emma tells the two about the information that she has gathered so far. This includes everything that Auza is involved in. Their software seems to be everywhere, and several journalists investigating them have died mysteriously. There is even a political figure who denied Auza access to his country, but he died a few weeks ago. Since then, his successor has been doing the exact opposite. Auza is now operating in the country as we speak. On the other hand, the chairman of Auza is seen putting another of their inventions to the test. He aims to put Auza above everything in the world. He wants everyone to speak Auza and to do Auza because this is his goal. After the exhibition, he makes his way to his office where he sees Yamaji waiting for him. This is a clear indication that he is working with the ninjas. Yamaji seems to be there on serious business. This is because the chairman was the one who ordered mercenaries to take out Mike and Hygen at the restaurant. Yamaji doesn't want him to do anything behind his back because there are things they still want from Hygen. Back in the car, Emma is still feeding Mike and Higa pieces of information about Auza City when they are suddenly attacked. The attacker stands on the car, trying to push his sword into them. Emma puts the car into drive mode to try and shake off their assailant. Higen uses his perception skill to track down the attacker and fires a shot to get him off. The car is about to escape when their unlucky fate comes into the picture. They get hit by a truck, knocking Emma and Mike out. Hygen is left to fight the assassin that is after them. To cope with the assassin's multiple attack streams, Hygen activates his multiple hands. With this, he is able to conquer the assassin. He pushes his sword into his head before he even realizes what is going on. It turns out that the assassin is receiving orders from the crappy-ass machine guy. Hygen knows this, and he does the "I'm going to kill you" gesture to the camera. As Hygen is about to leave the scene, he gets a call from a strange person. The strange person on the phone knows that Hygen is heading to Auza City, but they also know that Hygen is not going to survive if he tries it. They tell Hygen that the city is impenetrable, but they can help Hygen. They tell Hygen an old ninja poem that gets Hygen's attention. The voice gives Hygen the chance to trust him or not. They tell Hygen to head to a certain location and wait for further instructions. A flashback scene shows Mike remembering how he lost his family due to his commitment to his work. He wakes up on the hospital bed and Hygen is already there, almost giving the old cunt a heart attack. Emma joins them in the hospital room, and Hygen tells them about the strange voice that contacted him. Hygen wants to trust the voice because of the ninja poem that they mentioned. Only exiled ninjas should know this, and this is what he is relying on. Moving away from this, Emma tells the two that she has been able to find a site on the motherfucking dark web. This is a place where people who hate Auza are gathered. It seems the site admin is a former researcher for Auza. After the entire talk, Hygen stands up to leave. And this is when Mike asks him if his wife knew that he was a ninja. Hygen tells the guy that his wife was also a ninja, and they both broke the ninja code that rebukes them from getting emotionally attached to their comrades. Later on, Yamaji, the chairman of Auza, and the rest of the top guys are seen having a meeting. The creepy machine guy is so interested in taking down Hygen, but Yamaji puts him in his place, reminding the guy that they need to acquire Hygen's techniques before he is put 6 feet under. The Cabal is not worried about Mike because Yamaji knows they can easily get rid of him if he proves to be a problem. After the meeting, the chairman tells one of the ninjas, Dilly, about his plan to gather data from all of Hygen's battles. This is the reason he agreed to work with the ninjas in the first place. He sincerely hopes the guy doesn't die too quickly, so that he can use that to gather all the data that he wants. Yamaji is also seen telling Zai not to do anything just yet. Hygen is on his way to the location that the strange voice gave him, and he gets a flashback of his past. He, Sarah, and Zai just graduated as shinobis, and they are each given their ninja names. In addition to this, a secret technique is passed down to each person. The leader sends the trio on a mission. He knows the mission is treacherous, but he trusts the trio to deliver. Hygen and Zai seem to be best of friends back then, but only fate knows what happened to them. While on the mission, Sarah gets shot, but Hygen manages to get her out. She passes out, but Hygen resurrects her. Sarah doesn't want to live, and she tries ending herself, but Hygen is there to stop her foolish act. Sarah wants the guy to continue the mission, but he says no. She reminds him that they are not allowed to emotionally get attached, but Hygen lets the lady know that it is too late. He has been in love with Sarah since the first time that he saw her. It is at this moment that the two share their first kiss, and thus break the ninja code. Hygen manages to keep Sarah alive, and when Zai finally finds them, he is shocked at the position he finds the two lovebirds. Now in the present day, Mike tries calling Hygen, but he is not picking up. He wonders where the dumbass put his cell because he is heading to their contact to talk to him. Just then, he gets a call from his former partner, asking him why he didn't come in. He reminds the guy that he is only going to come in on his retirement day. Mike wonders if nothing ever gets past this asshole. Mike and Emma meet up to track down the lead that they have. Meanwhile, Hygen is at the location where the voice told him to stay. He gets a call from the voice, letting him know how the security system of the city works. Every person entering the city goes through a database search, and whoever is not qualified is sent back. Anyone who refuses is fired upon without hesitation. There is also a dome that covers the city, which allows only air and rain to enter. Entering from the underground also sounds impossible because there are sensors down there. However, the voice has the schematics of the underground, and this is where they want Hygen to pass through. If he can get past the lasers and all the traps located in his path, he he will reach the electromagnetic barrier that leads into the city. The voice will be able to shut off the power for 5 seconds, giving Huygen the chance to enter the city. Huygen will only get 5 seconds and the mission is going to commence at sundown. On the other hand, Mike has a picture of who he is tracking. His name is Jason Cardenas, and there is the possibility that he has changed his appearance, but this is no problem for Mike because he has the eyes for this sort of thing. After getting all the info that he needs from Emma, Mick continues to track down Jason on his own. It is time for Huygen to infiltrate the city, and the voice starts to guide him on where he is supposed to pass, and not to. His physical strength is put to the test when he is required to evade the lasers. Huygen is a motivated asshole, and this doesn't hinder him one bit. However, the alarm system soon goes off to let the guards know that there is an intruder in Sector D. Huygen is about to make it past the electromagnetic barrier when he is stopped by Zai, causing him to miss the 5-second window that the voice gave him. Huygen stands in front of Zai, telling him that his wife is dead. He wants to know if Yamaji gave the order, but Zai just ignores him and walks away. Mike has also made it to where Jason is reportedly living. Emma tells Mike to contact her in case of an emergency, because there is the possibility that the FBI is now keeping tabs on him. Mike enters the game store to find a wasted guy sleeping. Mike seems to know the guy is Jason, and when Mike mentions his name, he looks utterly shocked. Meanwhile, Yamaji and the Cabal are having a meeting. They suggest that they let Huygen into the city and send ninjas after him. They believe that he is going to be forced to use his secret art, and they are going to acquire the technique in the process. Aoza's chairman is all for this because he also wants to gather data during Huygen's battle with his enemies. They plan to lead Huygen to the test room in an attempt to minimize casualties. Shortly afterward, the voice contacts Huygen, letting him know that they have decided to let him into the city, but this is an obvious trap, and he needs to be careful. Huygen doesn't care if it is a trap or not, because he is there to terminate all those involved in his wife's murder. The city has a parade slated for 7 p.m., and this is the same time the voice wants him to strike. Now, in the game store, Jason is still left surprised that Mike easily figured out who he is. Mike continues to surprise him by uncovering his secret server room. Back to Huygen, he has entered the city successfully, but he now has to contend with a bunch of ninja assholes who are waiting for him. Bro has his pursuit stars raised to the maximum cause the F are these swarms of ninjas. Mike and Jason head to the server room. Jason starts ranting about how corrupt Aoze is. Mike tells the drunk idiot to keep shut because he already knows everything he is saying, and in fact, he believes him. Mike wants the guy to hack into Aoza's servers, but he is scared that they are going to find him once he does that. Mike then assures the guy that he is going to keep him safe. In Aoza City, Huygen is battling the ninjas furiously, cutting down all those in his way. Huygen uses his sword, dagger, shuriken, and every other thing in his possession to make sure that no one stops him. Jason is seriously trying to get into Aoza's servers, but he keeps failing. However, he is able to get through to a folder that contains the names of their operatives and spies. Mike is surprised when he sees Emma's name there, but he wants to believe that this is another Emma. Just then, the alarm goes off, letting them know that mercenaries are around to unalive them. Mike manages to distract the assassins with the use of a video game. Under the cover of gunfire, Mike and Jason make it to the car and drive off, but the mercenaries chase after them. Huygen is still facing a life-and-death situation while trying to go deeper into Aoza, but the dude doesn't know that all of this is just a data mining operation. Mike tries to reach Emma, but her line is not connecting. The Aoza mercenaries are also hot on their tail. Mike's piece of trash that he calls a car cannot run fast enough, making it easy for the mercenaries to catch up to them. Mike tells Jason to step on the brakes, which gives him the angle to take down some of the mercenaries. Mike has his head out in the car with bullets flying around, but not a single one touches him, thanks to his strong plot armor. Things soon go sideways when their car hits one of the mercenaries' cars, causing it to flip over. They crash into the bush and they get knocked out. Continuing with Huygen, he finally makes it to the test room where he sees a bunch of ninjas wearing mechanized suits waiting for him. They call this the end of the line for him because there is no way he is making it out. Just then, Huygen sees a plane flying by and Yamaji is on it. He gets mad when he sees this because his entire vendetta is directed towards Yamaji. This is enough to rile him up, and he fails to think straight, just as he is supposed to do. He ignores the dangers at his back and tries going after the aircraft, but he is pulled back by the mechanized ninjas. Even after this, he creates a cloud of smoke, trying to obscure their vision just so he can go after the freaking aircraft, but they stop him once again. Dude just puts himself at a disadvantage because he is fixated on Yamaji while he has freaking Power Rangers trying to eliminate him. Higan realizes that the only way out is to use his secret technique since he is in a life and death situation. He doesn't hesitate to do this, even though the doctor told him that the next time he uses the technique might be his last. Just as he activates the technique, he gets punched by the enemies and they start to throw him around. He is rendered powerless against them as they use him as a ball to play with. They are not even ashamed that the dude is forced to engage in 1v5 against them when he is already wounded. Once Huygen is knocked to the ground with no fighting spirit from him again, Zai shows up. He mocks Huygen, reminding him that there is no escape from the path that he chose. Zai hates Yamaji so much that he summons the little strength he has just to stand up and try to punch Zai in the face. Zai easily dodges his slow-ass punches and knocks him back to the ground. Zai unsheathes his sword and he is about to relieve Huygen of his head, but plot armor strikes yet again. One of the mechanized ninjas saves his ass, shuts down down the other Power Rangers, jumps off the roof, and activates a bomb to stop Zai from coming after them. On the other hand, Jason also managed to drag Mike from the crash. The ninjas wonder why one of them saved Huygen, but the creepy-ass machine guy doesn't seem to care one bit. All he knows is that the hunt to take down the guy has just begun. Yamaji then sends out instructions to all their sleeper agents to find Huygen and unalive him. When Huygen finally wakes up, he finds himself in a tube, and his savior shows themselves. They take off the mask, and it turns out to be Emma, leaving Huygen totally shocked. Emma explains to the guy that they were sent to uncover the secret of his technique by Yamaji. This is the reason Emma approached Huygen under the guise of an FBI agent. Huygen asks if Mike knows about this, but Emma says no. It turns out that Emma is also the strange voice that has been helping Huygen. She was trying to help Huygen get his revenge. She was working for the ninjas while trying to betray them at the same time. Huygen wants to know why, and she tells him that she has her own personal reasons. Emma tells him that he has no chance against the mechanized ninjas because of their powerful suits. In addition, his secret art is not going to help him, but Emma seems to have a solution to his problem. She brings out a red suit that she was able to steal from the ninjas. It turns out that the suit is due for testing, but she managed to steal without them knowing. Meanwhile, the search for Emma and Huygen continues. This is known as the Gusoku gear, and it is designed to optimize the ninja fighting skills that have been in freaking record for over 600 years. Emma is trying to program the suit to fit Huygen's body and allow him to effectively use it. Later on, Mike wakes up to see Jason beside. He should be the one protecting the drunk cunt, but it is the other way around. It turns out that Mike has been out for 10 days already. They have been staying in a house that is used by an apparently rich person who rarely comes to the place. Jason now knows that the FBI is also after Mike, so he cannot use that crap for him again. However, Mike is happy that they are able to gather some information when they hacked Aoza's servers. Emma is trying her best to get the suit to work, but she needs a power reactor that is going to serve as the heart of the suit. She can only get this at the headquarters, which she cannot go to because it is freaking suicide. Just then, an idea pops up in her head, and she knows that this is the only option that they have left if they are to have a chance at all. While he is out, Huygen continues to think about his dead wife and the memories they shared together. Soon afterward, the ninjas figure out that there is a particular block in the city that has been consuming a high level of power for the past weeks. They immediately conclude that this is the area where Emma is using for her operations. One of the ninja lieutenants, Big D, decides to take his personal unit and snuff out Emma. After updating the Gusuku gear, Emma decides to rename it Kamui. This is built to maximize Huygen's combat potential, but it needs to be linked to his brain first. In short, the suit reacts to whatever Huygen wants it to. However, Emma will have to put Huygen to deep sleep if she is going to put the suit on him. No matter what happens when the suit synchronizes to Huygen's brain, he is not going to wake up. He is only going to after the process is complete. She then tells him that there is a con to this, and this is the fact that the next time Huygen dies, it is going to be his last. It turns out that it was also Emma who saved him the night his son and wife were terminated. She was one of the ninjas there, and she found a way to slow down Huygen's heart rate to make it seem like he was dead. Huygen angrily stands up, holding Emma by the neck, and asking her why she didn't save his son and wife because he would have gladly died for them to stay alive. Emma activates the suit process to get Huygen off her back. Shortly afterward, Big D and his minions arrive at where Emma is supposedly hiding, only to be greeted by a trap that stops them. Emma is still celebrating that they have fallen for her trick when the creepy machine dude shows up where she is. Emma wonders how the guy was able to find her, and he explains to her that he noticed that the truck they are staying in has been the only one moving since the two disappeared off the radar. The guy admits that Emma is smart, but she is not smart enough. The truck soon falls over and Emma emerges with her suit to fight the bastard. Meanwhile, Mike is still trying to reach Emma, but to no avail. He wants Jason to track her down, but there is no way to do this, because Jason needs a computer, and his hideout is gone already. Just then, Mike remembers that Emma's car can actually serve as the computer that they need. A huge fight ensues between Emma and the creepy guy, but the first few minutes of the fight have Emma dodging and operating her computer system to get the suit to synchronize to Huygen's body. Emma disses the creepy guy, telling him that someone like him will never know what it is to be a ninja. The fight continues, but it seems the guy has the upper hand because of his freaking bloodlust. Emma soon uses an optical trick to split herself, but the creepy guy manages to break through this trick yet again. Emma tries running away, but the guy manages to shut her down using an EMP. Now that Emma is at his mercy, he starts playing around with the girl. He throws her around like she is a piece of trash can. All while this is happening, the suit is busy synchronizing with Huygen's body. A pre-recorded voice then starts to play in Huygen's head. Emma tells him that whenever he hears this recording, it means that she is dead. She tells the guy that she is helping him because his wife once saved her life. After that, the two remained in touch. On the night that his wife and son were terminated, she tried to stop it, but she was too late. However, she is now fulfilling his wife's wishes for him to live on, no matter what happens. With this, the creepy guy prepares to terminate Emma, and she says goodbye to Huygen. Just then, the suit finishes sinking, and the entire city goes dark, just to power it. A red shadow appears from the truck to project the type of monster that is about to emerge. Huygen comes out of the truck weaning the suit, looking all menacing. This catches the attention of the creepy guy, causing him to let Emma go because he has seen what seems to be a worthy opponent. He knows that Huygen is going to give him the satisfaction that he wants. He charges head-on at Huygen, but Huygen knocks him back with just an attack. Huygen walks toward him and he tries to use a surprise attack on Huygen, but the guy dodges this. It turns into a battle of who is the best, but Huygen doesn't even seem to be pushing himself. While he is elegantly dodging all of his enemies' attacks, the guy is busy doing all he can to take Huygen out. Huygen remembers what Emma told him about how the suit responds to whatever he visualizes, and this helps him to boost the suit's performance. He uses his magma attack, but Huygen cuts through this to get to him. Huygen pins him to the wall with his swords, and seeing that he has lost the battle, the guy decides to terminate himself while taking Huygen with him. However, Huygen manages to weave the explosive attack while also saving the guy, because he has something terrible in store for him. Huygen assures the freaking bastard that his death will be nothing but painless. Later on, Huygen sends the guy's head to Yamaji and the others, using this as a warning. Yamaji then decides that this is the time to speed up his master plan. Emma also informs Huygen that the ninjas are not going to come after him in the meantime, because they need to find a way to terminate him before making a move. Unknown to them, Yamaji has finally given Zai permission to go after Huygen and take him down. Huygen asks Emma how she met his wife, and she explains to him that Sarah saved her life. A flashback scene shows Emma on a mission, but Sarah catches her unaware, which would have been a direct death if it was an enemy. Since then, Sarah has become Emma's mentor. Sarah made Emma her partner, and together, they went on missions. Emma has always adored Sarah because she sees her as the real embodiment of what a ninja should be. Everyone has always looked up to Sarah, Huygen, and Zai about the possibility that one of them is potentially going to be the next leader of the organization. Emma had a mask that she always wears on her face, and Sarah asked her why. She explains to the lady that she had an accident when she was little, leaving her face disfigured. Her parents left her because of this, but the organization took her in. This was when she started learning the tricks of disguise and the like. She became a ninja just so she could disguise herself, but Sarah told her to take off the mask because she is beautiful as she is. Emma always took to Sarah's words because she respected her. Not long after that, Sarah taught Emma her secret art, which is supposed to be unknown to someone else. This is the art that allows her to make someone appear dead. Thanks to this, she was able to save Huygen when she did. These times were the happiest times of Emma's life, but everything turned upside down when the former leader died, giving Yamaji the chance to become the new chieftain. Later on, Sarah told Emma that she was pregnant, leaving the lady utterly surprised. Sarah admits that she fell in love with someone, and she is not ready to get rid of the baby. After the burial of their former leader, Yamaji tells the clan that they are going to be leaving Japan. This causes an uprising among some of the ninjas. Some even go as far to attack Yamaji, but he easily takes them down with his scary-ass ninja power. He uses this as an intimidation technique to put the others in line. However, those who are loyal to the old way remain stubborn, and these are the set of people that became exiles. Sarah joined them, and she showed the leader of the exiles the technology she had been working on. This allows them to disguise themselves and start a new life. Soon afterward, Emma challenges Sarah. She has been given a mission by the previous leader to test Sarah to see if she is really worthy of becoming a leader. Emma wants Sarah to get rid of the baby so that she can go back to being a proper ninja, but Sarah refuses to do this, even if it means dying at the hands of someone she considers her family. A fight ensues between the two, causing them to cross weapons. Sarah would have won the battle if she had not made a last-ditch attempt to cover her tummy in order to save her baby. Emma sees this and realizes the level at which the lady is willing to go in order to preserve her child. Emma has always wanted to live as a ninja, but now that the organization is fucked up, she doesn't want to be a part of them again. She believes that the organization has lost the purpose to which she believes in. She then decides to terminate herself instead, but Sarah stops her from going through with this. Sarah tells Emma that the baby has given her a new purpose and a sense of responsibility that she lacked before. She then begs Emma to live on because she has always considered her as part of her family. This is the reason Emma stayed behind in the organization, to keep track of whatever bullshit they are cooking. After this, she and Sarah kept in touch, and Emma continued acting as a watcher for the family. Sarah always told her how hard it is to raise a family, and she even believes that it is harder than being a ninja. Emma then tells Huygen about the secret sinister plan that Yamaji has been cooking behind closed doors. Up next, the chairman of AUSA, Joseph Evans, showcases the top government officials about the energy core reactors. He assures them that this is going to sustain the entire population, and he wants the government to approve this so that they can fast-track their plans. Emma tells Huygen that part of Yamaji's plan is to give Ayuza the ninjas as muscle. This will allow them to take over countries from the inside out. Emma is glad to have stayed on the inside, where she is able to observe all of these. Meanwhile, Jason and Mike are still trying to figure out what they are going to do about Auza. Jason remembers that Mike mentioned a name, Emma, and he tries asking him who the person is. On the other hand, Hagen and Emma are trying to leave Auza City. They are in their usual funny-ass truck, and Emma is doing her best to take down the city's defenses. Once she is able to do this, Hygen steps on the gas and runs past the shitty-ass city's defense. There is no way to pursue them because all the drones and security systems they are supposed to use are down. All they can do is just watch as the truck escapes from the city and drives away to freedom. Emma knows Yamaji must be putting his plans together as they speak, and there is a high % chance that he is going to use the energy cores as a way to charge his damn Gosoku gear. There is some sort of crappy ass test that is going to take place the next day, which Hygen thinks will be good for them to bust. Later that night, Hygen sits alone, thinking about what his wife used to tell him. There is a saying that she always tells him to stay cold as ice and hot as fire. Emma can see him thinking, and she remembers what Sarah told her concerning the protection of Hygen. It turns out that Sarah left Emma to protect Hygen in whatever dumbass business he finds himself in. The following day, Joseph shows the government officials the strength and power of the Gosoku gear. With the Gosoku gear, they can easily take down a bunch of soldiers without too much stress. With this, they can easily take down several enemy troops, and this is obviously going to change the pace of the game. Meanwhile, Emma has infiltrated one of the energy centers to steal an energy core. He is in contact with Hygen all through but unknown to them. Big D is also present in the facility. He activates his suit while Emma is trying to escape and uses this to intercept her movements. He calls her Judas, which is pretty ironic since she betrayed them. Emma is about to be ended when Hygen shows up to protect her. Big D is happy that Hygen showed up because he has been wanting to fight the annoying prick who wouldn't die. Emma believes the enemy has a trump card which they plan to use, and to prevent this, she thinks of destroying the reactor core. She dashes toward the reactor system, but she is intercepted by one of Big D's weapons. She activates her hand gear to try and evade the terrifying beast of a weapon. While she is trying to keep her life, Hygen is also trying to take down Big D. Emma manages to taser one of the weapons at some point, believing that this is going to buy her some time, but before she knows what is happening, the annoying machine is back again. She almost gets turned into trash at some point, but manages to roll away. However, the ground under her gives way, and she falls. She gets lucky when Hygen arrives just in time to grab her. Their luck runs out when Hygen's suit turns off because of loss of power. They believe that they are done for since Big D is still on their ass, but funny enough, Big D allows them to stay alive. He loves an honorable fight, and since Hygen's suit is no longer operational, he believes that there is no longer any reason for a fight. He wants them to have a proper fight next time, and with this, Big D takes his leave. After the battle, Hygen is left to take care of Emma. He asks her why she is risking her life for him, and she lets him know that she is just trying to fulfill Sarah's wishes. It has always been Sarah's dream for Hygen to continue living. Just then, Emma gets the notification that her computer has been fired up. She wonders if the dummies, who call themselves the FBI, are the ones who took the car, or someone else entirely. Mike and Jason are trying to get a hang of the computer system when the radio turns on. It starts playing a song that only Mike recognizes, and this is a song that he and Emma know. Emma and Mike have always been close, and even though they argue, it seems the two have this sort of father and daughter relationship type of thing. Mike has always been trying to take Emma as his family, but Emma only sees him as a colleague. Mike remembers all of the nice memories he has with Emma. There is even a particular memory where Mike sings like a baby, and this makes Emma laugh so badly. Now in the present day, Mike and Jason suddenly get ambushed. The two try running away, but it turns out that they are not being attacked. They look around to see that it is just Emma and Hygen. The four get to sit down and talk. This is when Mike confronts Emma about the fact that she is a ninja all this while. Emma tries to apologize, but Mike storms out of the room, claiming that he needs to get some air first. Later on, Emma and Mike get to settle their differences, because Mike sees Emma as his daughter. They start working on the case together, and they manage to get the picture of a mechanized ninja. However, they do not think this is enough to take down their enemies. Meanwhile, the government has finally approved of whatever Auza wants to do. Soon afterward, Emma and her crew start making plans to shut down energy centers, while also stealing the energy sources that they need to keep their operation going. Unknown to them, they are being tracked because there is a piece of tracking device stuck under their truck. Meanwhile, Joseph is seen berating Yamaji for trying to play passive. He tells him that they need to get things done fast before everything goes freaking sideways. Yamaji and Joseph end the meeting on the basis of threat. Yamaji reminds him that the ninjas have a duty of exterminating scum like him off the face of the earth. The imbecile angrily leaves, promising to make one of Yamaji's ninjas commit seppuku the next time that they mess up. The fool doesn't even know the difference between a ninja and a samurai. It turns out that Zai and Yamaji are currently cooking something nice in the background. On the other hand, Emma is seen telling Hygen that he needs to treat the Gosoku gear like his wife. With this, the gear is going to produce the best result that he needs. Hygen is worried about Emma, and he tells her to stick with Mike for now. She has done a lot after all, and he cannot ask her to do more. Emma refuses to do this because she has a duty to uphold when it comes to Hygen. Just then, the freaking weirdo, who calls himself Jason, enters the room with a plate of food. He intentionally does it this way, so that they can eat together on one plate. It seems Joseph is having issues with the Secretary of Defense because the man is getting skeptical about whatever Joseph has going on. Joseph is forced to shout at the annoying politician that he is the only one trying to change the world. He asks Dilly where Big D is, and she tells him that the fashion freak is having his hair done. Joseph calls Big D, but he refuses to pick up the call. No one interrupts him whenever he is getting his hair cut because this is elegance at the best. In addition to this, he already knows what Joseph wants him to do, and he can only get down to this when he is done cutting his hair. Joseph angrily throws away his earpiece, but Dilly picks it up for him, telling him to calm the fug down. Later on, Zai sees Joseph at the Gusoku storage center, and when he asks one of the staff what Joseph came to do, Zai is informed that the guy came to personally check Big D's Gusoku gear to make sure that it is running perfectly. This is the first time that Big D is going to do this, leaving Zai totally surprised. Meanwhile, Emma has been able to locate a functional satellite that seems to control everything that Aoza has. If they can get their hands on this, it is going to be game over for Aoza. Shortly afterward, Big D finishes up his hair, and with this, he can now get to whatever it is that Joseph wants him to do. He gets a call from the department that his gear is now fully operational, and Big D cannot, but talk about how this is the perfect timing. Egan and the team are having their things sorted out when Big D graces them with his menacing presence. This throws the entire team into panic mode. There are also Ayuza mercenaries who accompany Big D. Mike asks Emma if there are weapons that he can use, and she tells him yes. She points him in the right direction so that she and Jason can continue working on the computer. It is down to another round of fight between Buckethead and Huygen. Big D hopes that this time is going to be different, and he wants a fight of pure elegance from the guy. The mercenaries fire at Emma's computer car, but she uses 3 robots to block the bullets. She believes that this is going to give her some more time. The mercenaries are about to use a rocket launcher on the car, but Mike is there to stop them with a Gatling gun. Emma realizes that she needs to get out there and help. She leaves the 4-eyed weirdo to continue whatever it is that they are doing. Huygen and Big are seriously battling it out like traditional fighters do. Emma has joined Mike, but there are a bunch of mercenaries coming to hunt them down. Mike wonders if Emma is ever going to listen to him about staying out of danger, but there is no chance that it is going to happen. As the fight continues, a sniper gets the fix on Mike. He gets shot, and he falls. Emma starts crying and screaming for him to wake up because she is not ready to lose the old cunt. A flashback scene shows Mike begging Huygen to keep Emma safe in case he dies. Huygen lets him know that the only way all of these can end is when he terminates all of the ninjas. With this, Emma is going to have the best life that she deserves. Now in the present day, Mike gets back on his feet, and it turns out that he is lucky. The bullet hit the bulletproof vest, thus preserving his life. Mike wastes no time in returning to action again. He and Emma start taking down the mercenaries while fighting side by side. As they do this, they make sure to cover each other's backs and prevent any form of sneaky attacks. On the other hand, Big D leaves himself open, giving Huygen the chance to push his joined swords into him. The impaled bastard doesn't even feel the pain, but instead praises Huygen for an outstanding fight. He agrees that he and Huygen had an elegant battle against each other, which makes it fun. Emma joins them on the scene, and Big D asks her why she betrayed them. Emma then tells the guy that she is only fighting for what she believes in. Big accepts the answer, even though it is a bitter truth to swallow. Big D then tells Huygen to finish him off, and just as he gets closer to him, Big D's suit starts to glow. It turns out that Joseph has messed with the reactor so that it can self-destruct. This is the biggest dishonorable act that Big D has ever seen. Big then uses the last of his powered suit to protect Huygen, because he obviously needs him alive to get rid of Joseph. Emma is left open to the nuclear explosion that is about to happen. Mike starts rushing towards Emma, but Emma uses her robots to take him down and shield him from the explosion that is about to happen. The explosion goes off, but Joseph doesn't seem happy because he planned to eliminate all of them at once. When the dust clears, Huygen and Mike are safe, but Emma is about to die. Nonetheless, she is happy that Mike is alive. She then uses this opportunity to show Mike what her true face looks like, but Mike sees her just as the same. As she is about to give up the ghost, she remembers some of the nice memories she had with Mike while alive. Emma dies with a smile on her face to show that she also considered Mike as her family. While burying Emma, Mike swears to tear down Aoza for ripping his heart out the way they just did. Huygen, Mike, and Jason seem to be finally ready to do whatever it takes to take down the evil organization. A flashback scene shows Zai suffering at the hands of child traffickers when a squad of ninjas led by Yamaji shows up to terminate the evil men. Zai is already broken from everything that he has gone through. He takes a sword and repeatedly cuts the corpse of the evil man he resents. As if the young boy is going crazy already, he charges at the man who just saved him and tries to hurt Yamaji. Yamaji lifts him up like tissue, and even though the boy stabs him in the hand, he doesn't feel it. Yamaji realizes that Zai has a fighting spirit, and he tells him to come with him. Yamaji takes Zai to the house of the ninjas. Huygen and Sarah are already students at this place when Zai finally joins them. Now in the present day, Zai's Gusoku suit is ready, and he is finally ready to take on Huygen. On the other hand, Huygen and Mike want to find a way to make sure that Emma finds peace. Huygen plans to take Yamaji out because he is at the center of all these, while Mike wants to destroy the entire system called Aoza. They plan to leak certain files to the media to show everyone Aoza's true colors. Just then, Jason calls on the two to let them know that they have a problem. There is data that should be useful for them, but it seems to be locked by Emma. He is going to need time if he is going to solve the annoying puzzle behind the data storage. Nonetheless, Mike is glad that Emma passed the file directly to the guy. As if they do not have enough problems on their hands already, they watch the news as they are branded terrorists who need to be apprehended. Joseph and Mr. Secretary come up with this genius plan to get rid of their pesky little problem. Since this is already out of the way, Joseph wants them to continue working together to achieve all they want. However, the secretary is not ready to rush things this time around. He wants to really know if the power plants are safe, as Joseph claimed before they go further. Joseph almost has a mental breakdown when Dilly comes to tell him that their server was hacked, and it seems some vital information has been stolen. Joseph is frustrated, and he wonders if anything can just go the way he wants. Mike and his team are thinking of the way forward because their enemies just use the media against them, and this is what they were planning to do instead. Even with all these, Mike maintains his steez and composure. He tells Jason to keep working on the encryption while he puts together a plan. He leaves the truck to get something done, and after his departure, a crow arrives with a dual message from Zai. This is a ninja code, and he needs to abide by it. A flashback reveals that Zai has always been the aggressive one. He even beats up his opponents while they are on the ground. Huygen is against this, but Zai doesn't care. To settle their differences, Sarah suggests that they fight. The two agree to this option, but in the end, the fight comes out a draw. Zai is someone who doesn't take his training as a joke. He is always training, and Sarah also notices that he has an affinity for crows. After the trio passes their tests to come out at the top of their class, the trio is sent on a mission. They manage to get what they came for, but on their way out, they realize that they have been cornered by multiple armed men. Sarah and Huygen are still looking for a passive way out of the problem when Zai foolishly charges toward the enemies all by himself. He takes down multiple enemies all alone, and just when he is about to be overpowered, Huygen and Sarah show up to save his stupid ass. Together, the trio takes down their enemies as if they are nothing. Meanwhile, Yamaji reports himself to the clan leader. It turns out that he intentionally sent the trio out on a tough mission to see how far they can go. Since they are looking for the strongest soldiers, this is his way of testing them, the old freak says. After the trio returns from the mission, they become closer because of the friendship they now share on the battlefield. Zai tells his friends that it was crows that fed him when he almost died, and this is the reason he is close to them. His parents left him to die, and the crows were the ones who saved his fucking life. Only crows have been covering his back, and for the two to have done it in battle, it appeared new to him. With this, the trio makes a pact to always be together. However, when he later found out about the pregnancy, Zai felt betrayed. This is because they swore a pact to be together, but it seems the two are about to abandon him. He tells the two to end his life because if they don't, he is going to hunt them down. The two refuse to do this, leaving him in intense pain. Now in the present day, Huygen arrives at the ruins where he is to have his duel against Zai. The two show up in their Gusoku suits, and Zai reminds Huygen that he promised him death. With this, the two set their swords against each other. On the other hand, Mike has called his former partner to try and have a reasonable talk with him concerning Auza, but it seems the guy is there to arrest him and not to talk. The fight between Huygen and Zai is getting more fierce by each minute that passes by. They fight to their very best until their gears give out, leaving them to fight without any mechanical assistance. While Zai and Huygen are busy fighting, the memory of how Zai refused to follow them when they wanted to defect starts playing in their heads. Leaving this past memory aside, Huygen and Zai continue with their fierce battle against each other. Seeing that Huygen is getting the upper hand, Zai decides to use his secret arts, which gives him the ability to become very fast in dishing out attacks against an opponent. The secret art is Thunderclap, and with this he knocks Huygen around like a freaking baby. Tired of getting bodied, Huygen activates his own secret art called Serenity. This allows him to heighten his senses in an attempt to block any incoming attack. He is able to block Zai's attack, giving him a chance against the freak. The battle becomes more fierce, and in the process of this, Zai's mask breaks to reveal his ugly-ass face. This is a surprise to Huygen because he never knew Zai's face had turned out this way. It seems that he was tortured by Yamaji after his friends left. Because of this new development, Huygen throttles down, giving Zai the upper hand against him. Huygen tries to reason with his friend that he and Sarah had to leave because they figured out that love was worth it. Zai is not ready to listen to anything the guy says as he continues hitting him. Huygen reminds Zai that it was his stupid ass who decided to stay in the organization because it is home to him. Huygen breaks Zai's sword at a point, leaving them to fight fist to fist. However, his unwillingness to strike hard gives Zai the upper hand yet again. Zai arms himself with a sword, and he is about to cut Huygen down from behind when he notices that he still has the symbol that they used as a pact. Instead of pushing the sword into Huygen's heart, he pushes it into his left upper body. Huygen manages to stand up with the sword in his body and deals a powerful blow to knock Zai to the wall. Huygen then tells him what Sarah once said. She believed that Zai would come for them one day, but she would make him spare their son. Zai no longer has the strength to fight, and he falls to the ground. With this, Huygen wins the battle. On the other hand, Mike returns to the truck to find out that Huygen has gone to fight a freaking duel. Jason hasn't been able to get his way around the encryption as well. Meanwhile, Joseph is making plans to eliminate Yamaji. His mercenaries have already surrounded Yamaji's place. They launch a full-on assault on Yamaji's residence while Joseph is speaking to him on the phone. With the explosion that occurred, Joseph believes that Yamaji should be dead, but just then, he receives a call from the devil himself. Joseph realizes that he is in deep shit because it is pretty obvious that Yamaji is going to come for him. He quickly arms himself with a pistol kept in his office drawer. In no time, Yamaji and his scary-ass ninjas arrive at Joseph's palace. They take out whoever stands in their way, with no shred of mercy. On the other hand, cops are now chasing Mike and Jason. The two are trying their best to lose the cops on the highway in their slow-ass long truck. In Aoza City, all of Joseph's security guards have been terminated. He fearfully runs to the elevator to try and escape. The elevator door opens and someone appears behind Joseph. Out of fear, he shoots before looking, and the person turns out to be Dilly. Dilly tells the dumbass that he would be dead if she wanted him dead. She grabs him in an attempt to take him to safety. Joseph tells Dilly that there is a chopper on the roof to help them, but Dilly lets him know that the chopper is out of commission already. The ninjas are not dumb like he is because they have already taken out his means to escape the building. Mike and Jason soon run into a spike set by the police, leaving them with no room to escape. Mike is captured, but it seems Jason has switched vehicles before the police started chasing them. Mike intentionally sacrificed himself to give Jason more time to crack the code that Emma left behind. In the city, Dilly continues her duty of protecting Joseph by taking out the ninjas that are after him. Shortly afterward, they come face to face with Yamaji and his men. Dilly tells Joseph to hide himself while she protects him. Yamaji asks Dilly if she had betrayed her people, and Dilly reminds the dumb cunt that he was the one who put her in charge of protecting Joseph. "I'm simply doing my duties, you old fool." Yamaji then tells Dilly to prove herself. To do this, Dilly grabs Joseph and throws him out of the glass window. Joseph believes that he is falling to his death, but to his surprise, Dilly already has an aircraft waiting to get him out of there. Joseph looks passionately at Dilly as he is transported away to safety. Meanwhile, Hygen is resting from his latest battle when the old doctor shows up. A flashback scene shows Yamaji telling Zai that the location of Hygen and his family has been acquired, which is the reason he needs to go take them out. Now in the present day, Zai has also left the ruins, remembering a beautiful memory that he had with Sarah. This is enough to get him back to his senses, and realizes that he has been messing up all these while. The old doctor shocks Hygen when he tells him that he is aware that he just used his secret arts. Hygen is wowed by this, wondering how the old man knew. The man then tells him that he is there to tell him everything that has been hidden away from him. The old man transforms and changes into the clan's former chieftain, leaving Hygen totally flabbergasted. On the other hand, Dilly is now battling it out with Yamaji and his people. She has equipped herself with her armor to at least have a chance against the old man. It turns out that Dilly switched sides when she realized that Joseph is a genius who plans to change the world. Yamaji believes the lady has been listening to Harrant nonsense, but Dilly refuses to fall for whatever Yamaji says. Dilly believes in the change that Joseph brings with him. She angrily uses her strength to punch Yamaji in an attempt to get rid of him, but Yamaji walks out of the dust unharmed. In fact, he is now wearing the perfected version of the Gusoku suit which he named the Mikado. With just one strike from this powerful suit, Yamaji takes Dilly down. Joseph watches from the sky as his loyal bodyguard is sent to her ancestors. Back to Hygen, he wonders why the old man has been helping him, when all he has done is break the code that he instilled in them. The old man then tells Hygen that he no longer cares about the code, because he now sees it as a shackle to hold down the ninjas. They were once the backbone of Japan's military, but at some point, the country started moving away from them. They started hiring other special forces instead of coming to the ninjas. No matter the technology that the ninjas try to adopt, it just seems that it is not enough. The end seemed near, forcing the old man to start looking for a way out, but he struggled with this. The stupid-ass code is all that the ninjas have. He decides to disguise himself in search of answers, and this is when he finds Sarah. He quickly figured out that Sarah was in love, and not even ready to give up on the love. He warns Sarah that the path she is choosing is going to lead to destruction, but Sarah doesn't seem to mind at all. The old man was also watching Yamaji, and in all honesty, what he was trying to do was find a favorable path for the ninjas. However, Yamaji comes after the old man when he realizes that the old man has started entertaining emotions. He tells the old man the reason he needs to die, and with this, he cuts down the old man's head, thus killing him. Yamaji is surprised to hear this, because if Yamaji killed the old man, how the fuck is he still alive and talking to him? The old man reminds Hygen of the old saying about the cat that has 9 lives. However, it seems the old man is in his 9th life. He bows his head to Hygen and begs him to end whatever it is that Yamaji is doing, because he no longer has the strength for combat. Hygen accepts to do this, but he tells the old man that he is not doing it for his sake, but for the sake of those who have died in his stead. Meanwhile, Mike is being held in an interrogation room. His partner enters the room to ask him for the data he stole from Aoza, but Mike doesn't look like someone who is ready to budge. His partner then asks him what he wants, and Mike says he wants Joseph in jail. His partner calls him a fool for believing that he can go against these powerful people. However, the man starts to realize that Mike has a trump card when his officials tell him that the data in Mike's possession contains the list of everyone associated with Aoza. These are the top government officials, and in fact, the guy's name is also on the damn list. Mike's partner is starting to panic, and he asks Mike if his great plan is to blackmail the entire security forces, which includes the FBI and the army. This is because they are all involved with the creepy-ass organization that he is fighting. Mike says yes to the stupid question that the guy is asking him. However, he changes his mind and tries to talk sense into the guy. He reminds him that he was the one who taught him all about justice and the reason they need to fight for it. Mike is risking his life for justice, and this is what he wants his partner to do. It seems this passionate talk gets to the guy, but he is not ready to help Mike until they do it the old way. He tells his people to turn off the cameras. With this, he and Mike will be able to fight to their heart's satisfaction. The two start throwing punches at each other while those who are outside wonder what the fug is going on inside. Not long after this, the government tries to cover their own asses by burning Joseph. Joseph already knew that they were going to try something like this, so he already had a contingency plan. He immediately takes over the entire broadcasting system of the country, reminding everyone that he can actually shut things down. All he needs to do is overload the reactors that now supply everyone with energy, and with this, everything goes kaboom, wiping out humanity. He warns everyone not to make the wrong choice because they are definitely going to regret it. When Mike and his battered partner sees this, Mike doesn't look scared. He believes that Joseph is only using this as a distraction because he is planning to escape. His partner tells him that those at the top are already taking over the investigation. They are hunting the guy down as they speak, and there is the possibility that they are going to terminate him. Mike doesn't want this because he wants the bastard to be caught and punished. As if this is not enough problems already, Yamaji has ordered his ninjas to take all the top government officials as hostages. He wants to take over the country this way, but Heigen is on his way to where Yamaji is to try and stop him. Heigen is the only thorn left in Yamaji's flesh, and once he is able to get rid of him, Yamaji is good to go. Shortly afterward, Mike leaves the office to track Joseph by himself. His partner keeps feeding him all the info that he needs to make his operation successful. Jason contacts Mike and tells him the route that Joseph is planning to escape from. On the other hand, Yamaji tells the government that he has no intentions of taking over the government. He only wants to bring peace to the world. This doesn't seem like peace, the defense secretary says, but Yamaji tries to make his logic clear by telling them that the world is living carefree without control. He aims to put a stop to this with the help of his ninjas. Heigen has made it to where Yamaji and his bike gets destroyed by the missiles fired by the enemies. At the same time, Jason tells Mike that Joseph's satellite is on the move. However, Jason is still tracking the guy, and he is giving Mike every single detail. Joseph arrives at an airfield where he plans to leave the country by riding with a bunch of pigs. As soon as he gets into the plane with the pigs, the plane starts leaving. However, Mike arrives just in time to drive his car into the plane, causing it to flip over and ruin Joseph's escape plan. Joseph jumps out of the plane and starts running away like a headless chicken. Mike chases after him like a rabid dog, and when Joseph's stamina finally runs out, he is tackled to the ground by Mike. Joseph manages to stand up, and he frees himself from Mike's grasp. Joseph plans to overload the reactor using a remote control connected to his smartwatch. Mike tells him to stop, but he goes ahead to press the button anyway. Mike kicks him to the ground, but when Joseph stands up, he realizes that the shit did not work. He tries it once again, but it refuses to work. This is when it dawns on him that his satellite has been hacked. This was all done by Jason, who later got through with it. Joseph is kicked to the ground, but he doesn't look remorseful. In fact, he is confident that he is going to be free anytime soon. His only regret is not terminating Mike when he had the chance. This only upsets Mike because this reminds him of Emma's death. He pounces on the fool and beats him to a pulp. He points his gun to Joseph's head, which scares the shit out of him. Elsewhere, Heigen is finally ready to take on Yamaji and his new suit. Heigen is there to put an end to all ninjas, but Yamaji assures him that the ninja heritage will never die. Yamaji claims that he is only bringing the ninjas into the light. Because of their differences, the two charge toward each other, letting their swords do the talk instead. The two seem to be evenly matched as they battle each other like the Red Ranger and the Yellow Ranger. After a few minutes into the battle, Heigen gets the upper hand. Heigen is about to send Yamaji 6 feet under when Zai shows up to support Yamaji. It has now become a 2 versus 1 fight at a disadvantage to Heigen. Zai claims he can only be a ninja and nothing else. Seeing that he is at a disadvantage, Heigen decides to use his secret art, but Yamaji overwhelms him with his own secret art. Yamaji's secret art allows him to mess with someone's mind, and he throws Heigen in a mind prison. Heigen is forced to rewatch the death of his family over again while he struggles in pain. While this is going on, Zai also gets his fair share of memories, and he sees a beautiful one that he shared with Sarah. Yamaji is about to end Heigen when Zai steps in and pushes his sword into the old man. However, this is nothing but an illusion, because Yamaji was already suspecting that the guy is going to betray him. Yamaji kicks Zai to the wall before breaking the ground beneath them to reveal the energy tank that he has under there. Zai is already wounded, and his ability to fight is totally down. Yamaji buffs himself up with enough energy and uses this to kick Heigen around like he is some kind of puppet. Yamaji considers himself invincible with this new power that he wields. He grabs Heigen like he is nothing, and he pushes his sword into him to pin him to the ground. Yamaji starts levitating while sucking energy from the tank. This in turn affects the rest of the energy core planted around the country. There is a chance that it is going to go off anytime soon if Yamaji continues with what he is doing. While this is happening, Heigen sees a memory of his wife encouraging him, and this is enough to get him back on his feet. Heigen then remembers what Emma told him concerning the suit. The suit responds to whatever he throws at it, and there seems to be no limit. Higen's aura is so cold that it turns the suit's color from red to black. Zai is left in total shock when Higen starts to activate the secret art that is supposed to only be known to Zai. Higen uses Zai's secret art to gain a boost of speed, which allows him to reach Yamaji even faster. Higen pushes his sword into Yamaji, thus activating another round of fight between the two. All Zai can do is just watch as Higen fights Yamaji. Zai admits that Higen produces what is known as the true embodiment of what a ninja should be. Using everything that has happened to him so far as motivation, Higen is able to take Yamaji down. Everything immediately returns to normal once Yamaji is down. On the other hand, Joseph has also been captured by the cops. It turns out that Mike made Joseph pee his pants like a baby before the cops showed up. Mike is also glad that Higen was able to pull through on his own end. After the battle, Zai tries ending his own life, but Higen stops him. He tells him that there are other paths to follow besides the ninja way. Later on, Higen throws the ninja suit into the water, thus ending his life as a ninja. Higen rides off into the sunset on his bike just so he can start another life.